Welcome to Music Corner, a corner where we discuss music industry and pop culture. I'm Jia Wei. Today we'll be talking about the resurgence of vinyl records with our special guest, Robert Hassan. The first time I encountered with vinyl record was actually in a coffee shop in Melbourne. Don't know why, looking at the vinyl spinning at a constant pace while hearing the sound from the player, I was deeply attracted by these settings. As I took a sip of good coffee, I turned on my laptop and tried to do some research on vinyl records. As I dived deeper, I found that debates on vinyl records and digital recordings are a long-standing one. The word analog and digital often showed up together. Well, as a digital native, the word digital is part of my life, but the concept analog really confused me. In order to gain a deeper understanding of the rise of vinyl records in this digital age, I invited Professor Robert Hassan to join the show. Robert Hassan is a media communication professor at the University of Melbourne. He has taught and researched at the intersection of technology, media, time, politics, and philosophy for more than 20 years. His most recent book is called Analogue. With my very first confusion, Robert has explained the concept of analog and its relationship with digital to me.
On the surface, analog is something that's been a technology that's been defined by being not digital. It's the opposite of digital. Well, analog means that technology has continuity relations. There's a connection between events within how things work. Whereas digital, characterized by discontinuity. Discontinuity means like, I'm thinking of the on, off, yes, no, or binary computing. That's the difference at that level. And so you think about the kinds of things like a typewriter, an old typewriter is analog, but it's become remediated through digital by becoming a word processor, become digitalized. For me, I went back and began to think about the meaning of the word analog. And the word goes back 300 years, well before computers. In the first entry, in the Samuel Johnson's dictionary, said that it's to do with human relations, things which are parallel or similar, or have a connection to in some way. So it's not about technology necessarily at all. It can be about how people relate and about how things are in the world. And so what we've left behind, to me, seemed to be something extensive, right? So there's a lot of things which are not digital, but digitality sort of really shapes our world today. And also paralleling that, there's maybe the last 20 years, there's been a kind of popular fascination with analog items like tape-to-tape records, cassette tapes, lava lamps, vinyl records. Yeah. Yet, a lot of young people like yourselves, at your age, people in their 20s and younger, buy vinyl records because it gives them a kind of sense of authenticity. This is what music used to be like.
I feel like this phenomenon is really counterintuitive for me, because why you want to buy a vinyl record? Because it's not convenient. You can just search on Spotify, but if you want to buy a vinyl record, you have to go to the physical store and pick your favorite one and then bring it back to home and then put on the player and then you can listen. It's not convenient.
It's not convenient at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not fit.
And you have to turn it over and put the other end and that you can scratch it and it can be ruined.
Then do you think this kind of trend is a fad, or is people started to realize, oh, we want to engage more with music, so we buy the vinyl records, or it's just a fad because it's trendy and then young people want to show off, like, oh, look, I got this new vinyl records.
Well, there is that part of trendiness and being a fad, but there's also, I think, at a deeper level, people take the pleasure in touching something, and it gets back to who we are as human beings, as tool makers and makers of things. When we've lost the capacity or the need to do that, there's a lack within us. It's something that's a lack within our consciousness and within our soul, if you like, which needs to be filled with something. And those sorts of things can do it. So it's deeper than just a fad, I think. It's deeper than just a trend. And it's something that speaks to a need in people which digital takes away. A need for authenticity, a need to touch, a need to be in touch with the world around you in a way that digital says that you don't have to be.
Yeah, people's fascination with analog items like vinyl records is not just a trend. It's our needs for authenticity and the desire to understand and interact with the world deeper. That brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks to Robert for joining the show. As always, thanks for listening to Music Corner. I'm your host, Jia Wei. See you next time.